Football TV. With check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Football TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Football TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Football TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep Football.
Oh, all right. So welcome to. All right. So welcome to today's edition of the program Inside District Number 13. Wherever you are following the broadcast, this is the Foca Online TV, where we broadcast from our central studio in the Topo community. So today is November, the third day, the third day in November, and the year remains 2023. Um, all right, so here we go. While this is where we're gonna go next. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to District Number 13 biggest. Welcome to Foca Online TV. This is the official voice of Inside District Number 13. This is the voice of the slum. At Foca Online TV, we bring innovation to broadcasting like no other media platform does in the country. This is the biggest thing on your online platform. At about this time, you cannot just afford to miss today's edition of the program Inside District Number 13. It promises to be a more watery discussion. As we give you the line up for today, as we give you the line up for today's edition of the program, Inside District Number 13. This is the program that affords the opportunity All right. wherever you are viewing the broadcast. This is the Focal Online TV. Welcome to the November 10th, 2022 edition of the program, Inside District number 13. This is the voice of the slum. That is the man Cesar Gator, one of the best, bass singer ever. He is no longer around, but the voice remains in our ears. We hope to call some of our Basel friends one of these days to ask them what is the exact meaning of what Caesar Gata was saying in this song. I'm a freedom fighter. I'm a freedom fighter. I'm a freedom fighter. All right. So as we await our guest, Mr. Tony Nippon Tupe, who is vying for the representative seat of district number 13. We were having our studio where he's going to be giving all of those wishes for which Mr. Flomo should be ousted to the ballot box comes 2023. We will continue to try our possible best to use the microphone in the best possible way. So that is it right there. Let me just take this short break, and as soon as I comes back, and then we dive into other issues while we are still awaiting our guests. And anytime he comes, we will still continue on the conversation from wherever he want to come from. So let me just play this. There's an interview by the former president Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
He's rerunning a major.
That is the voice of the former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in an exclusive interview with one of the journalists from Al Jazeera. Yeah, so while we are still waiting our guest, Mr. Nipan Tube, we will just dive into other issues that would, of course, I think the district is confronted with. You know, I took a walk yesterday during the morning hours, and I just took a walk around the district to see what are those things that the people are confronted with. So I just decided to take a walk around around the district to see what are those things that the people are confronted with. And then I gotta understand that with the issue of schools within our country, precisely, let me first limit the conversation to district number 13. With the issue of schools within our district, let me firstly limit the conversation right there. Yeah, because when I took the walk yesterday morning, trying to see around the district what are those things people are really confronted with. I first did start my observation by schools within the district. This is something very serious that people have to start taking these things very much serious in our country. There were schools I was able to lay my eyes on, and I saw some of these schools, and I don't think these schools are even worth to be a high school. Least to mention a kindergarten institution. These are things that are contributing to the backwardness of the educational system of this country. That people don't respect. People, in fact, people don't really respect our educational sector outside there. When you go outside the country, you try to recognize yourself that you are from Liberia. People start to ask you all of those questions. People start to look down on you. Oh, a former country where they were on the map, they were competing with other countries around the world, with other countries around Africa. But right now, it is on the contrary. You don't really see these things are happening within our country. So when I saw some of these schools, what came to my mind is what Mr. Ansu D. Suni is doing. Is he really sitting in his cousin office? Is he just sitting in his cousin office thinking that everything is okay? The educational system of this country is okay? Oh, yes. He is sitting quietly in his office. He is not coming down to the slum. He is not doing much. He is not really doing sufficient thing that we think he should be doing because we are using the taxpayer money to pay him. It is the taxpayer money that he is receiving on a monthly basis. It is the taxpayer money he is using to benefit he and his family. So when I took the walk in the district, I gotta understand that we are still backward in terms of education. There were just few schools, and I hope to bring the district educational officer on this platform one of these days to really ask him what are those mechanisms, what are those challenges he is faced with, because I think he is also serving as an eye for the Ministry of Education within the district. So if he would sit there and come to the end and allow those schools to operate without being in the know of the Ministry of Education, I think it is something it is a complete failure on his path as a district educational officer. I think that is a failure on his part as a district education officer because he must be, in fact, at this time, I think it is about this time that he should be taking he should be taking a walk out of his office. Everything in this country we just sit down, we just sit and then doing nothing about it. These are things that are contributing to the massiveness of the educational system within this country. They also solely sit quietly doing nothing. Schools within this country are operating without being recognized by the Ministry of Education. And then the inspectorate division or the inspection sector within the Ministry of Education is not doing nothing too. They are there taking money on a monthly basis and they are doing nothing about it. So when I went to one of the schools right around Stockton Creek there, after you cross the bridge, after you cross Stockton Creek along the Japan's freeway, I saw some of these schools. I started to shake my head. A kindergarten institution, a kindergarten institution is not even. It is not even. It is in fact. It is not even an institution to even say we should recognize. We should recognize as an institution of learning for people to send their children. In terms of infrastructure, it is nowhere around. The environment is very much bad off. It's massive up. When I asked where's the bathroom, the janitor took me to the bathroom. And then when I went to the bathroom, I saw the bathroom. I shook my hand and said, no, we still need to do more. We still needs to do more in this country. We still needs to do more. Minister Sonny, you have to put your feet down to the fire. You really, really have to put your feet down to the fire because you are sitting quietly doing nothing, getting resources. Like what the politician could say, you are getting sufficient resources. And that is it. You are getting the resources. You are not really doing nothing much, Mr. Sony. You have a school within Broadville. And when people question about it, you say that school is owned by your wife. So I don't know how possible is that that you don't have anything to do with that school. So these are just things that are contributing to the backwardness of our educational system. So we really have to do overhauling in the words of Professor Pierre Lumumba from Kenya. We really have to do educational reform. The educational system of this country needs to be reformed. We have to reform the educational system of this country because there are too many schools in this country. They are not even worth. They are not worth to be a school in this country. They are not worth to be a place of learning in this country. But because some of our parents cannot afford the money to send their children to other schools around here, they end up resorting to sending their children to those schools that are not recognized by the Ministry of Education because of poverty. Because if a man or a woman is capable of getting money to send his or her son or his child or children to any of these schools within the country or within our district, I don't think we're going to be experiencing these things because poverty now has overtaken almost everybody, almost everything within our country. Our people cannot afford money. In fact, even to even get food, it is only I can say it is in this country that for us to get food to eat, it becomes it becomes an achievement for us in this 21st century. In this 21st century, we hope we hope that the next person who's going to come will change the dynamics around. We hope these things we want this change around that I will sit somewhere You say yes, my country is making progress. We are competing with with other country on the continent. We are competing with other country around the world in terms of education. But as it stands right now, we are still below the belt. In terms of education, we are still below the belt. I don't want to talk about infrastructure. That is a discussion for another day. So as it stands right now, we are still below the belt. And then another thing has to do with the 1 million jobs discovery within our district. For a week now, we are not here sufficient. We are not getting sufficient information from the government concerning what they have done to the 1 million jobs that was found within our country. We are not getting sufficient. We are not getting sufficient information on that. You see, you see, these are some of the things. These are some of the things for which if if President we are should be re-elected, these are just simple things that so these are just simple things that if President we are must be re-elected, the Justice Ministry or those who that were responsible for the issue of burning that 1 million jobs. It is about this time that they must be updating the public on who are those that brought the jobs into this country and how the jobs landed at the Rabat International Airport. That is another question we must start to ask them. How the jobs landed in this country at the Rabat International Airport, and who are those that brought those things to the country? Up to present, we cannot we cannot get something good. We cannot get something good. So we were I was thinking about really expanding on that, but my producer just informed me that my studio guest just arrived. So so we will expand on that conversation on another day with the issue of the 1 million jobs discovered within district number 13. And don't forget that district number 13 has also been a rare spot where Mata Masale also came out to the public. She said there were, I mean, she saw a jeep along the Ghana's route where we have one of those lawmakers from the Ghana's route, and they were transporting huge quantity of cocaine, huge quantity of drugs. Yeah, yeah. So,
Focal TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV. With check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV. Bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV. The best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep focal.
all right. Sorry for that. Yeah, our producer was able to bring us back to where we are. So viewers following the broadcast, this is the Focal Online TV. We now have our guest in studio, Mr. Tube, who wants to see the current lawmaker of this number 13. That is not about it is the responsibility of every single Liberian immigrant, once you are a citizen of this country, you are entitled to your right. That is your constitutional right to vie for the position of a representative from any at any given period of time in any part of this country that you think. So he is already now. Yeah, Mr. Yinpan is already yeah. All right, so Mr. Yinpan, welcome to Fuka Online TV. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a
All right.
pleasure to be.
How's the district, by the way?
The district is in turmoil. The district is in disarray. The district is just disorganized.
Okay.
So there's no good news in the district.
But you have a current lawmaker. You have a lawmaker who went to the election 2018 and he was overwhelmingly elected by the people. So how will you say these things?
Sometimes what appears victory is not necessarily goal. So the populace of this rejecting with misguided, with misled, with food, to vote a peddler. I mean a drug peddler.
Do you have evidence to that?
Before coming to your studio,
Do you
I was
have
following your program.
okay.
And then we were talking about the DA. You were talking about
Yeah, we're gonna come to that. We will definitely come to that.
We know what the reason called the current lawmaker quarter gram.
Mm-hmm. No,
It's
no,
a quarter gram.
no, I don't know.
Quarter gram is the measurement he used to dish out his drugs.
Do you have evidence of that? Do you have
I
a
mean,
story?
yeah, so I have pictorial, we have hard evidences to produce, but that's not what we came for today. We came to talk about what we want to do and how we gonna unseat him because I mean this district is the laughing stock in the entire country. But it's a pleasure to be on your microphone in your studio, cruising studio.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the acknowledgement. So now we move to the district. What have been your working with the people within the district?
Okay. So the name Tony Nipantuber
Mhm.
is an indigenous, a Pawnee, a son of the soil. We've come a long way, promoting, giving life to the lifeless, and providing the alternative where others felt that it was impossible. We uh, we don't give scholarship. The scholarships for people who
Yeah, who are Scott?
academically, qualify for certain, sponsorship.
Okay.
But we do sponsorship, educational sponsorship for a lot of people around the district.
For how long you been running that?
For about 6 years now, from Daku Town to Battery Factory to Chocolate City to New Jersey, Pastor Town, New Jersey Estate to the Gulf, you know,
Mhm.
Chocolate City, Topo Village, across the river, Stockton. We've already impacted people in the Southern Creek community, those from Delima, those from Jamaica Road, those from Pastor community, all those people within our district. We have, given out assistance to the less fortunate, especially we we focus our intention and our operations on the less fortunate, specifically with the female. In our society, female are always denigrated.
Mhm.
They do not have the opportunity to further education. In Liberia, I can say once the child has reached 17, 18, other people think they've reached the age of womanhood. Most of them have been marginalized. They have kids, they are
Yeah.
single parents. So what we've been able to do to have an organization to cater for them, to provide educational assistance for them. And we intend to do better if we have the opportunity to be elected as representative of this district.
Mm.
And I can tell you that it is clear cut that we will be representative district come 2023 because what we want to see is not for the representation of our district to be a building market. What we want to see is not for our representation to be giving 20 persons $100 so that they will go and run his campaign and be shouting for him. We want to see a representation that will create wealth for the country and the district in particular. We want to see a representation that will, move out from the status quo. What is the status quo? Legislature, you dance to the tune of those there, like the $30,000 you will receive your grant envelope. But we want to bring something different. One of the things we want to bring on board is rotational representation. Tuning in to vying to be a representative of the team is going to set a mark that has never been. We're going to bring on rotational representation, meaning to say, as I will be elected as a representative for the district come 2023, I'm going to only serve for a term.
You're speaking with a lot of conviction.
Because I know the people in the district are giving me their word, they're giving me their backing.
Okay.
And then, we don't need to shout out. The writings are on the wall and they are very glaring and obvious and conspicuous. So what we want to do is to bring a new dimension to the Liberian political system. I remember when I was a kid, in the 90s, in the mid 90s to the 2000s, we had this proportional representation. So people will have the opportunity to have more members in the House if they had a significant impact in the Liberian Civil War, like the NPFL, and all those
warring factions.
So that was proportional, representation. So if you look at that whole setting, a lot of representatives came and lawmakers came from the NPFL because it was the largest warring faction.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to bring on board is rotational representation.
Okay.
We want to organize the district so that this can, spill out to the entire country, where we will have cluster and then decide to present a representative based on consensus. There are 38 communities in this district.
Yeah.
So no one community or no one area is entitled. You understand? And one of the reasons why the people of District 13, were pushed to choose Edward Flomo was that before him, all of the representation came from Upper New Georgia. And this is Lower New Georgia.
Yeah.
So the saying was that this is the time for Lower New Georgia.
Sure.
So some of us were not in the country. We were doing government's job.
Okay.
Sourcing resources for government, for the country development. Mm-hmm. So we did not participate in that election based on that. But this one, we vote. And we want to make everybody part of the process. So Tony Tube is going to run for a term.
All right.
And then we're going to organize
the
district cluster. The district of clusters, where the clusters will go into consensus to choose a representative so that we don't have the issue of who want to run, who don't want to run. So we are setting a tune, a political tune.
But do you think the people are gonna buy into that campaign that you're bringing out?
There's an ideology we have sold out. And that is the reason why the people want us to come on board, so that we initiate it, we lay the premise, we lay the fundamentals and the rudiments so that anyone coming after us will follow suit.
Were you to have a one-on-one conversation with the current lawmaker of district number 13, Representative Flomo, and then he called you to the table and said, Mr. Tube, please give me another 6 years to continue what I was doing so I can complete all of those projects within the district. Were you silent with him, or are you going to go through the process?
With all due respect, Honorable Flomo has filled the district. Mm-hmm. He's filled the country. If you look at the last report, It was even published on the BBC.
Were you silent with him?
I can't. I cannot. I mean, he's not the
But you both live in the same, almost the same community.
Yeah, we lived. I lived right behind his house.
Mhm.
I lived in Daku Town.
And
There's
then
a community called Daku Town.
yeah, and then he lived Battery Factory.
Yeah, he's supposed to live in Daku Town, but he said he lives in Daku Town, and that's not the issue. But you know, he doesn't attend sessions.
Yeah, we will dive into
No.
we will dive into that. We're gonna take the conversation bit by bit.
Thank
You just rest assured that we will go up Capitol Hill, and then we will have your say on that.
Okay.
So as it stands right now, how do you really look at the district on a scope? How do you really look at our district right now on a scope?
I can tell you, as a citizen of the district, a true son of the district, the initial blueprint of this place called District 13 is that it becomes the industrial hub of Liberia. That way you get battery factory, iron factory, you know, what I mean?
Chocolate City.
Yeah. So that is the industrial hub of the country, and we have the representative doesn't know that.
Have we lost that?
We lost that.
How do you
We
think
still
that
have chance to resuscitate that.
can a representative Tuber bring that back?
Absolutely yes.
How do you intend to bring that?
Because we're going to bring forth laws and bills that will activate that blueprint. You know, we have even as it stands, we have the cement code is the only now you have the full-time cement code in District 13. We have the pink factory, the only pink factory in Liberia in District 13. We also have Seti Brothers.
Yeah.
They are producing a whole lot of stuff in District 13. And there are several other industries in District 13, okay? So District 13 becomes the industrial hub of Liberia. All we need to do as a government, as the House of Legislature, is to make sure we enact the necessary legislation that will make District 13 the place suitable for doing industrial business. So going to the House, we want to make the citizens of District 13.
All right. We will come to your plans that when you have been elected as a representative, what are those laws you're going to put forth to your colleagues to see how best these things going to be in the best interest of the people who every one of you going to be electing at the Capitol building. So right now, where is Team Tube as it relates to the recent 1 million just discovered? Because you wants to be a representative of the district. We haven't seen a release, a press statement or a press release coming from Team Tube questioning national government, bringing the lawmaker feet to the fire concerning the issue of the 1 million just discovery. Where is your team as it stands?
Okay, so that's a wonderful question. You know, one of the reasons we had such a very bad example, like $1 million trucks in my district, right behind my house, is because we have someone who's peddling with drugs. But then we decided to allow central government after started because the government of the United States of America and the government of the Republic of Liberia are cooperating, and working together to see this come to fruition. The seizure is across our country. Imagine, you know, my district has the largest ghettos in the country. That is the market ground for people who are selling drugs. So, and it has been an open secret. Today, that drug seizure, has authenticated all we've saying, Tintuba have been saying that this representative is a drug peddler. Today, drugs of that huge quantity, they found out. Why we've not made a statement is because the central government has started a process along with the American government, and we are also targeting the result. However, why very soon you will get a statement from Tim Tuber. We have been involved in providing electoral education for citizens within the district. And so that has taken up our time and our resources because that's important because people don't know why they vote and how they vote. So what we've done, we use the electoral law of Liberia and provided some literature for high school and junior high students, for ninth graders and 12th graders. For ninth grade to 12th grade, we've been having workshops around the district to provide education for them, why they vote and how they should vote. Because that's one of our problems in this country. If we can't get that right, that means even if we condemn, that it's already condemnable, the act of the seizure of the drug, it would not amount to the project, the objective of our project, which is very core. We want to make sure that voting populists have the necessary tools and are informed adequately prior to going to elections. The national government cannot do all. It is incumbent, it is our business to provide this information and these educations for the populists, especially the voting populists. Because you will honestly, you will agree with me that come 2023 will have new voters. A lot of them who have not, been in the voting arena.
All right, so Stupa, you are a new face coming to the process within this number 13. And why don't you just support one of those who wants to become representative within the district and rather than you contesting to the
So today, before coming to your studio, one of those contesting, I won't call his name, asked me if he could give me his support.
Okay. Who is
So,
he?
No.
Well, I'm not contesting. I don't
No,
want to
you
be
are not
involved.
contesting, but we are still working the details behind the scene. And my team and
Well, I
his
think
team.
I think it's going to be fair
No,
enough.
no. We have not reached a conclusion. Almost that is done. I mean, I'm a popular figure here, and in this tech thing, this way I learn how to say ABC. Today, I work for the Ministry of Finance Development Planning,
Okay.
and I've traveled around the world. It's because of this tech thing. From Daku Town to St. Michael's and how you call it, we've been around. So the people in the district, I was saying that one of the aspirants,
One of the
asked me to join forces with my team so that it can get better. But I told you we are already the best. There's nothing we're not looking for people to make us better because we are the best. But we can accommodate people because we are open to everything. We are open to everyone. We are liberal. So we want to move this district.
All right, so
forward.
Okay, so if were you to be called by one of those political parties within our country, so they can feature you on their tickets, will you accept the nomination by them or you going to decline?
Okay, so this is it. I come from the staples of the State Liberal Group. And the State Liberal Group was founded in 2014. And
what is the meaning of the Save Liberal Group?
The Save Liberal Group is meant to provide the alternatives, to provide
Is it a political party?
It is it's not a political party. It is a civil society organization.
Okay.
And it is now putting up a political candidate today. Okay? So any political party, look, there have been several calls, several invitations from political parties.
What are those political
We
parties?
can talk about ACOM, we can talk about when you were party, we can talk about the MPP,
Or have they
we can
reached out
talk
to
about
you?
the CDC.
They have reached out to you.
We have had several calls for us to work together.
But I guess you are contemplating of going their way.
No, I'm going to go independent.
You're a young man. Why don't you go their way?
No, why would we go into party politics? Party politics is
They have a base.
yeah, they have a base. But mind you, every party base is made of Liberian citizens. And those citizens are the same people who are telling us.
But they're going to talk to their citizens to vote for you.
Yeah. What we bring on board is good for all parties. And by the time you see our manifesto, by the time we come up with our plan of action, political parties who have contacted us for us to join their camp, they will be surprised that they need to support us. They need to be with us. There is a platform. There is a room for every Liberian, the Safe Liberia Group. We do not subscribe to party politics.
Why is it that you don't believe in the ideology of those political parties?
You know, when you subscribe to one political party, you disassociate yourself with the other political parties. And then the other political parties have Liberians as well, right?
But you are looking for the numbers to make
the number for State Liberia Group is not in the political party. Political party, a political organization meant for political gatherings and aspirations and ideology. But our political party in Liberia, in fact, let me talk about Liberia political ideology. It's at the lowest end. We need to opt, we need to improve, we need to bring about new dimension to our political ideology. What is Liberian political ideology? Ask any of the political parties. Any of the political parties. Let me tell you about Liberian political ideology.
I should be asking you. I should be asking
political parties are the constituent of political ideology. They subscribe to Liberian political to a state political ideology. All the political parties in the United States subscribe to the United States political ideology. In Liberia, our political ideology is at the lowest end. So we want to bring in a system, a program that will revive what had been before and improve upon it.
What do we?
Political parties in Liberia do not guarantee you success in the elections. What they do, they guarantee you a space to run on their ticket.
So that is a fear.
No, I don't have a fear.
Because no, it seems to be like that is a fear.
I don't have a fear. I can never have a fear.
So it seems to be like that is
you, the Safe Liberia Group has been in existence since 2014.
But that is not a political party.
No, it's a pressure group.
We do agree to that.
So we are going independent on the platform of the Safe Liberia Group to bring about something different.
What do we hope to see from a representative Tugbe within the first 90 days?
That's what we want to talk about. That's what we came here to talk about. You know, Liberia is a country fragile. I mean, we Liberians, we are hungry.
Okay.
We Liberians, we are insecure.
But some of you politicians
we don't have the space, the enabling environment to express our innovation, our ideas, our skills. So what we're going to do, provide the necessary legislation that will establish the enabling environment to create wealth. In Liberia, we are poor, we are hungry. We want to make sure we are food sufficient. And that's the first line of security. Food security. If we do not have sufficient food, anyone who feeds us controls us.
Okay.
Anyone who feeds us controls us. And that's the case today. For 100 years plus, Liberia has not been able to feed itself. The only time Liberia had food sufficiency was in the late 70s and the early 80s, during the regime of President Winnie Ara Tolbert. We were not in food knowledge at that time, but they are written in the books. The Liberian Petroleum, the Liberian Produce FPMC and Managing Corporation. There was Thought Board instituted a system whereby we will give to the farmers, the tools and the necessary.
What do we expect? What do we expect of you within the first 90 days? You spoke of food security.
Yeah,
that's
food
one.
security.
Yeah.
We already have drafted a bill that when we reach in the house, we'll talk about food security, and it's going to be that bill is called the National Service Scheme. On the National Service Scheme, we have the National Service Program. On the National Service Program, we have the Liberia Farm Scheme. The Liberia Farm Scheme, so we have representatives and legislators and senators going for agricultural break. What has come out of that agricultural break? And we teach them a lot of money. So the National Farm Scheme will entail a wholesome program where every Liberian will have the opportunity to serve on that farm, whether you're a civil servant or you're ordinary Liberian. That program will provide for everyone to go to the farm. Because look, when we have food sufficiency, then we can talk about innovation to move our country forward, to talk about technology, to talk about development. But if you're hungry, doing childcare time with kids, they will say, "Enter bed, cannot stand." Can get yourself,
Cannot stand.
So it is true. We are hungry, so we are not thinking right. I can tell you, I obtained my undergraduate and my first graduate degree out of Liberia. The Liberians we were with abroad schooling, they were all top of their classes or that department. But myself, Liberians have strong minds, serious mind. They are very, very good when it comes to articulation. But because we are hungry, they have diminished our level of thinking and innovation. So we want to talk about food security. Now, today, Ukraine and Russia in a war, in a very serious conflict, which has affected the world over in terms of food security. Liberia is one of the countries in the world feeling the serious burden of that. Our people are hungry. If you went in my community today is Thanksgiving Day. I have to get extra the 25 kg.
Yeah.
I work for government. I'm a civil servant. What I was able to.
Okay, so you were able to get the 25 kg.
A lot of them, like about
distribute
25.
on people. But do you think that was something rather good that distributing rice on the people?
No.
Should they graduate from that?
That's what I'm saying. If I came to the house and that I must do, I will be the next representative of District 13. Food security is going to be high on the agenda. Look, national service in Liberia. To be a Liberian, we must understand the great Greek philosopher Aristotle once said, "A citizen must be educated in the spirit of the constitution under which he lives." In Liberia, we do not know. If I ask the question, who's a Liberian? What does one enjoy as a Liberian? What are your rights and your privileges? Those questions are the questions my bill has answered. We're going to give dignification. We're going to dignify the Liberian. We're going to give livelihood to Liberia. We're going to start from farming, food security. In my first 90 days, I'm going to put forth this bill of national service. On that bill, the most important is the National Farm Scheme.
Are you gonna be promoting farmers or going to promote the ideas of having farms within the district?
Already, when I work, we've been talking to farmers, we've been dealing with farmers. It's not working. Cooperatives, we have this several projects around the country. Millions of dollars have been pumped into it, hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what I'm saying. Yet we are still struggling to have food on our dining table. That means
Who should we blame for all
that
these
means
things?
our farmers,
Who should we blame for all these things where we are still struggling to get food on our table?
our lawmakers. There's nothing in the book, in the Liberian law book, that talks about how we will, grow food, how we will package this food,
Okay,
and
so
how we can benefit from this food. Because if we have food sufficiency,
Mhm.
then we can talk about exporting our food.
okay, all right. Okay, so viewers following the broadcast, this is the Foca Online TV. You are watching Inside Edition number 13, where we have Representative aspiring Mr. Tony Nippon Tube, who is vying for the position of representative within Edition number 13. So wherever you are viewing the broadcast, welcome to our online program. You can leave your questions right under the comment section, and then when we get to the question section for Mr. Tube to respond, he's going to adequately respond to all of those questions that you're going to be asking. Mr. Tube, there is this the issue of lawmakers receiving 30,000 United States dollars for constituents engagement. It has raised a lot of eyebrow from a lot of constituents within the Republic of Liberia. And people frown on this thing why lawmakers should receive 30,000 United States dollars, why they cannot divert the money to another sector, which is that could be the health sector, the security sector, or the educational sector of this country. And they receive the 30,000 United States dollars. If you were the lawmaker, will you take the 30,000 or you gonna reject the 30,000 United States dollars?
That was the long question. So, um, from nursery to high school, I did that in Liberia, and I went to school, university out of Liberia.
Mhm.
My mother, my grandmother, my father, my grandfather, great grandfather, because I asked questions. Even people who I know, 80, 90 years old, they've never said to me that this country, or let me restrict it to this thing, has a library, a public library. I mean, in my district, there are 38 communities. How many primary public schools are there? How many primary public health care are situated in your 38 communities? None. And we are teaching out 30,000 of people for what? Constituency engagement? For me, that's mess. That is totally, out of the question.
Will you accept the money?
Why would I? I'm talking about bringing on board. What am I going to do?
We are talking about 30,000 United dollars.
I'm coming.
You haven't answered the question.
I said no, I can't accept that.
But that is
Why would I accept
$30,000
that?
for constituent engagement.
Look, I earn what I earn. As a professional, I earn what I earn, and I'm okay with that.
No, but the money is given.
One of the reasons why we come to the table is because we want to change from the status quo. Look, we have school-going children. In Liberia, we don't have one library, one library in this country. There's no one public library in this country. When I come to become a representative, we're going to pass a law that every community has a primary school and a library in that compound.
That is very costly.
It's going to start with this thing because that's what we're bringing on board. That's part of the national service scheme. Because the national service.
Will you be waiting? Okay. So all of those farm plans that you're having, are you going to be waiting that your salary will be cut and then you're going to take home 4,000? All of benefits, you're not going to get sufficient gas slips, and all of other benefits that lawmakers should be getting, because all of those laws that you are thinking of bringing to the table, when these laws are put forth and taken into consideration, will you be satisfied with taking home 4,000 United States dollars or 3,000 United States dollars?
So I told you,
as a representative.
So I told you, and I would say, let me be emphatic here, that whatever that does not resonate with the interests of the people of Liberia, I mean the people particularly of the Swift Tech team, I do not subscribe to that. We do not come here because we want to make money. Where I said I'm sufficient. I'm a civil servant. I don't
But
have
you
much.
you you
I'm coming. You
uh-huh.
asked a question. Look, let me tell you, in this country, we need to appropriate our funding to the priority areas. I was just telling you,
Mhm.
primary health care is lacking in our communities. There are millions and hundreds of millions of dollars that are dished out every budget year in those areas, in the healthcare, in the agriculture sector, and what have you. But there's nothing to show for it. So, for us, we are going to the house. Maybe those in the house are listening to us, and they are listening to us. We're going to the house to change the status quo. What we get in the house today is outrageous in my mind. Because in Liberia, people live beyond $1 a day. Below $1 a day in Liberia. That is an insult as a country more than 200 years old. This is the first country in this part of the continent of the world that have shown to the rest of the world that we are responsible, that we are intelligent enough to run our own affairs. Today is the contrary. Today is the contrary. Look, healthcare is very important every now and then. I will use my vehicle. I will use my money to take people to hospital or to pay for them. We should have primary health care in those communities. It's a must. We should have primary education facilities in those communities. It's a must.
But why don't they carry all of these plans to the current lawmaker to see how best our district can move forward?
Because he's daft. We've talked to him severally. I'm talking on this public platform. I've had several engagements with him.
Okay.
I was out of the country and he became representative. When I came back, I congratulated him. I talked to him. There was an issue. Let me just come back. Thank you for bringing me to this point. There was an issue in my community and the Batu community where there was a same money organization or company operating. Prior to that, the senator of this
Senator Joseph
of this county had ran a same money in Batu, and the result was chaotic, but the people were agitated.
Okay.
So we were not in country then. But by the time we came, and then Honorable Flomo said that he wanted to do same money as well. We engaged him because the people of Dakota, I live in Dakota. Dakota is a community, very big community that covers much of the river between Upper New Jersey and Lower New Jersey.
Okay.
So we talked to him. Honorable, this same money, first of all, is going to bring environmental degradation. You know that we have Aqua Life.
Yeah.
Most of them, they are egg laying organisms. Okay? They lay their eggs on the bed of the river. And when you dredge the river, you take their eggs. So all of the crabs, the crawfish, or the shrimps, or the red belly, what we call them, the puka and the plant fish, or what? Once you dredge the riverbed, the eggs are taken away. Alright? Very soon we are going to have our river to have no living organism in it because they will all go in extinction. That's very bad. When I approached him, he told me to go and sue him.
Okay.
And we've talked to our legal team, and we're waiting for the appropriate time for that lawsuit to come up because we understand that we talked to the EPA as well. They said they have nothing to do with what he's doing there.
Okay.
And that's what the representative can do to use the district and enrich himself. So we don't need a dredger or a dredging company in our community.
Okay, just this question before we can take our break and then comes back. All right. So, Mr. Tube, you are vying for the seat of representative, and next year going to be a very tough year within our country where people are going to be running here and there. Politicians going to be all in the slums wearing their boots, putting on their paraphernalia, their political garments, and you wants to be a representative. You are a civil servant, and the lawmaker and Mr. Flomo is the lawmaker of the district. He is also with the room establishment. Don't you think this will also hamper your job?
No, I think election is about numbers. It's not about party.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to say before. You're talking about why I would not join the party. Election is about numbers.
Okay.
And that number is influenced.
But if the CDC,
that number is influenced by the conviction of the people in a particular candidate. Sometimes in Liberia, most of the candidates you see go to political parties, they take their constituent with them. You understand?
Okay.
For us, we do not, and we will not relent to pursue our cause as an independent candidate on the panel of the Sela group.
So even if the government is not supporting you in the process, because they already have a person who is the current lawmaker.
And I'm going on sitting, and he has been unseated. Come from 2023.
No, but we are not going to election yet.
Oh, forget about that. Election is a ceremony. The people are just tired of Mr. Flomo. Mr. Flomo has brought nothing to this district but disgrace and embarrassment. Mr. Flomo has done nothing to this district but bringing us to public disrepute. Yesterday,
Yesterday,
we were talking about an officer of the Liberian Drug Enforcement Agency talking about a representative in the district of 13.
Yeah, Martin Masale.
Yeah. And then what he did, he talked to his colleagues and called her to.
Do you have a fight? Do you have a fight?
We have facts. We have facts. We have living evidence.
Can you share that with us?
Of course. We'll do that. And today we also have, yesterday, we had that. And today we have $100 million drugs falling in our district. Hello?
Did that serve as a threat?
Hello?
To the district? Did that serve as a threat?
Hello?
Did that serve as a
Hello?
threat?
Hello?
Did that serve as a threat?
I mean, what more can be said about that when our district have been metamorphosis into a ghetto hub? All the youth in this community, in this district.
Can the district be restored?
Of course, yes. And that's why we are here. We believe that this district is the Bethlehem of Liberia. If Liberia will be better, District 13 must be better.
Okay. All right.
And that's why I'm coming today to take the district to the next level. Liberian politics is going to witness a new dimension, but differently that has not been witnessed before. We do not believe in party politics. We do not believe in individualism. We do not believe in favoritism. We believe in the cause of the people, because in the cause of the people, the struggle continues.
Okay. In the cause of the people, the struggle continues. Even if you are defeated, the struggle continues.
Defeat? Defeat?
That's the question I'm asking you.
That vocabulary,
even if you are defeated,
does not have any place.
Okay, so we take a short break and then we come back. You respond to those questions that is on our live stream.
Focal TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV. With check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV. Bringing you face-to-face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV. The best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep Focal.
All right, so welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to our live Facebook feed. Wherever you are viewing the broadcast, this is the Focal on TV. Mr. Tuber, let me quiz you on this before going to the question in our comment section. Um, there is this debate about Muslims. Muslims are championing the debate, and that is one question that I will ask any other aspirant or any other politician that will sit on this platform. That is one of those questions I will continue to ask all of those politicians because you guys are the politicians, and you people will say these things as soon as you get the position, and then you no longer you don't really want to listen to those who elect you to the position. The question here is, where do you stand as it relates to Muslims requesting a holiday within this country?
Wonderful. I love this. Severally, I've discussed this in several fora. If you went to Saudi Arabia, I've been to Saudi Arabia, I've been to the UAE, I've been to the Arab country. They have in this world we have Islamic State and we have Muslim State. Islamic states are states that practice Sharia law. So the laws dictate what their holidays will be. In Liberia, we have several holidays, but in every week we have two holidays, Saturday and Sunday. Those days are off for working. Whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Jew or a Baha'i, you are entitled to those 2 days. Those two holidays are meant for Liberians in general. Sunday is a name of a day. That day also, Christians use that day to go and worship.
Do you stand with the Muslims?
Holiday. Today is Thanksgiving Day.
Okay.
It's national holiday.
Yeah. But the Muslims are saying they need a holiday.
I'm coming. Today is Thanksgiving Day.
The Muslims also make up the population in this
I
country.
told you I had several engagements in the district. I'm just on the mosque.
Yeah,
So
because
Muslims,
election is around.
Muslims are celebrating. They are giving thanks on this day. This is a general holiday. This day is not only for Christians.
Mr. Tubet, Mr. Tubet, the question here is this, Mr. Tubet, your mic is off. The question here is this: where do you stand as it stands in where Muslims are requesting a holiday from national government? Where do you stand with that?
Good. So Liberia is a country established as a law or constitutional mandate. Our constitution allows for what is obtained today. However, our constitution is also and always flexible to absorb based on the prevailing realities. You understand? So if there's a need to do that, I mean, what would be, but the argument should not be Muslims because there are other religions in Liberia. And we should not.
Yeah, but another debate.
I'm coming. Christians are not asking for holiday.
No, but they have already. We just Christmas 25th.
No. Christmas is the universal day.
We do agree with that.
We celebrate the passing of the past month.
It seems to be like you are now really interest of Muslim getting holiday this month.
No. What I believe in nationalism. Patriotism.
But they are also a patriot of this country. They are also a national of this country.
In anything that will bring about division amongst the people.
Would that bring division? Do you think that going to be division? Do you think that going to bring division in this country?
So in modern Liberia, I'm answering your question. In modern Liberia today, in the household, we have a parent as a Christian, the children as Muslim. So we do not have division. When they went home and they sit at a dining table.
You are not really answering this question.
So religion, I'm coming. Religion has played a very significant part in the existence of this nation and this state, as we call it Liberia. Muslims are entitled to whatever they must have. However, we should be cautious so that we don't give more than what we have, because there are other religious entities. Who?
It seems to be like you don't really want to respond to this question.
I am responding to this.
No, but we just need a yes or no. That's all.
No, this is not a yes or no question.
I think
So
that
that
is
is
a
no question?
yes. I believe that is a yes or no question.
No.
Well, you are playing around the question. You are
You
not
know
really
what?
answering the
If
question.
you want to ask me, you want me to tell you that when we have eat El Fatal or eat
No. I'm asking you
you want
because
Liberia to
I'm
declare that as
asking
a
you.
national holiday,
I'm
right?
asking you because these are the same people who are going to go to the pool
Of
next year
course.
to elect you.
Yes, of
Do you
course.
have them do you have them in your diary book that when you go up there you're going to campaign vigorously for them to get a holiday in this country?
No,
That's
that's
the simple
that's
question.
not part of my campaign. That's not what I tell my Muslim brothers. That's not what I told the people.
But they are
That's not what I
also they
told
are
those
very
people
much
I
eager
met
about that.
at the mosque
They are
today.
looking.
They had a prayer.
They are
There was
looking.
a prayer call at the mosque today from my team. And if I have been,
These people are also looking up to a representative
they are looking up to
aspirant.
Tony Nipan Tukwe.
Yeah, a Tony Yipan Tugbe
They are
who
looking
will
up
be
to Tony Nipan
who
Tukwe.
going to be in their line.
Uh-huh.
But it seems to be like you're not going to be in
However,
their line. It seems to be like you're not going to be in their line.
no. I said no. You know why?
Why?
These are very important and critical issues that decide what happens in a country and what the outcome will be. As such, they have to be based on a series of discussions, a series of considerations, and the populace, because Liberia is a country based on majority. We run our system on majority rule, right?
Mhm.
So the populace will have to say there will be a referendum. I would say for that to happen, there should be a referendum. There should be a referendum because if there's not a
For them
referendum,
to get a holiday, it should be done through a referendum.
yeah. You know why? You know why? Because we have seen in other countries religious chaos, and we do not want that to happen. We have to be cautious and careful as we approach religious.
Do you look at them as a
These are very
violent people?
sensitive issues.
Do you look
around
at
the
them
world.
as a violent people?
No.
But then what you are talking about is going to be very chaotic.
No. I didn't say chaos. I said this issue leads to problems around the world, chaos around the world, okay?
Yeah.
But if they're not handled properly, so in Liberia or in the Liberia's case, it's not going to be because Tugbe is going to make sure this issue, they are elevated at every level, from the community level to the district level, to the county level, to the state level. Then we have a referendum. Because like those Muslims, if I told you I'm a Muslim, you won't believe that. Those Muslims are Liberians as well. And they deserve to have a fair day of their religion.
All right. So
that issue is not a troubling issue. It's an issue that can be resolved. It can be resolved with everybody on board. When I say everybody, the majority, because Liberia practice majority system. Okay? So if we did not go for referendum and then establish holidays for Muslims after 200 years of existence, primarily on Christian principles, you know what that means.
all right.
So we have to be careful. Look, let me be clear with you here. The House of Legislature, the Liberia's House of Legislature, is the oldest legislature in Africa. And that place, that hallowed chamber, should not be used for groups, individuals, or a few people academically. We must take into consideration every Liberian, aspiration. That includes every religious entity, every religious group, every religious, a follower. And the Muslims have been pushing forward for this to happen. And we believe if we have the chance, we're going to elevate that. But we're going to give it a new face. We're going to give it something that everyone will see reason to be part of.
All right. So that is okay. So, Mr. Tugbe, thank you. Let me acknowledge those who follow the broadcast. I have the politicians is. I'm following from Topo community, S.A. Mostama, following from district number 13, Monserrate County. Jerry Martin says he's following from district number 3, Peblan Road. And the politician also have a question here. So you can respond to those questions that we have in our comment section. And the first question from the politician who is viewing also from Topo community, he say, what can you differently, especially in restoring hope to the district, since you have openly admitted to the fact that the district is extremely challenged? What can you do differently since you have admitted to the fact that the district is extremely challenged? That is the first question. So I don't know when should we read the question one at a time, then you respond, or we should read out of the questions.
You want me to respond to the individually? I can do that. You want me to do it after all? I can do that. But let me just address that.
Okay, no problem.
We can have synergy. Like I said earlier, this is the hub, the industrial hub of this country. So once we pass the necessary legislations, we're going to make sure that residents, youth, and residents of this district have the opportunity to benefit from the industries operating in the district. That's one of the differences we're going to bring. Because our business is to create wealth. Government is supposed to create wealth. You understand? And if government cannot provide an environment for wealth creation, then we will all be in this poverty for as long as the Jesus comes. And when Jesus comes. So I'm going to make sure that these entities, we're going to make sure that these entities are given the full right of operations, and new industries are established, and then the youth, tell me something. You can be we can open a school in your yard and then you have a degree in education and you are not teaching in that school. It's impossible. So that's what we're going to do. We want to create wealth for the youth and the residents of District 13 and the cultural offer. So our deep politician, rest assured that once we take the mantle, we represent you, we're going to make you important in Liberia.
Okay, so the next question, you say, can you explain the lapses of the incumbent in the areas of representation, lawmaking, and oversight?
The mayor attend meeting. He does attend sessions. He does not attend sessions. We elected him to attend sessions. It is at those sessions.
How you gonna know that?
Man, they take in the record, man. Don't go to the thing and they put the public thing all the time. Either the man went late or he didn't attend. I mean, the man has brought nothing to the table. I don't want to discuss that, man. I don't want to discuss FOMO. I want to discuss other FOMO. He has misrepresented this district.
In terms of oversight,
it's a mistake.
In terms of oversight, what is his lapses in terms of oversight?
Okay, take for example now. Mm-hmm. We've heard about drug issues in our district. Mm-hmm. It is the oversight. It is the responsibility of the representative to have taken this issue on the floor and make sure it comes to call the Liberia Drug and Enforcement Agency director or whoever is the head to provide information going forward every day on a daily basis to Liberian people, because this is a very, very important issue in this country. 100 million worth of drug in this country is not a small thing. We have cocaine, Gucci, all sorts of things falling in those things. And then you sit down here as a representative, you do nothing. The only thing you do, you use your office to how to call it, to enrich yourself and enfranchise the Liberian people and carry on your clandestine acts.
All right,
so you have the red envelope.
So the next question is from S. Amos Tama. S. Amos Tama posed a question. He said, "What can you do when elected representative to boom the agricultural sector in the district upon receiving the 30K for agricultural break?"
Tama, that 30K will not take it. Tama, if you look in the district 13, all around we have mango swamp.
So just in case you receive the money.
Tamba. I'm not going to receive them. I'm not Darius DeLong.
So why?
I'm not Darius, excuse me. I'm not Darius DeLong. So I'm not going to receive it in the first place.
So why in case all the
In the
other
first
guys,
place,
why in case all of the other guys receive the money?
if
Yeah.
they receive it, then you will hear my voice, and I will be vocal, even on the floor, in the media, in my district. We will make sure that will be reduced, or it will be non-existent in the Liberian legislature. 30K for what? For what? When we are hungry in the district, I was saying something. District 13, like Liberia over, it is an area suitable for farming. So for us to have security, we must have sufficient food. All in our farm, the mango farm in District 13. Look around you in District 13. Is it Tomo Village? Is it Dakutan Packet Factory? Is it New Georgia? Is it Chocolate City? Is it Iron Factory? Is it MKK? You name those areas in District 13 where there's no swamp suitable for planting.
Okay, so
And the Republic. So we're going to make sure we start, because the National Farm Scheme is going to be subdivided into district farms. Every district is going to have their own farm.
okay, so because we are a little bit running out of time,
Okay.
so let me read the next question. What have you been doing to rebrand the education narrative since there is a national condemnation of the existing within our country, mostly district number 13?
So I have organized a reading program for uh, first graders, sixth graders, and ninth graders. These are very critical areas in the education sector. Those areas in the grade system. If you don't have a good comprehension about reading, you can't do better. And I told you that because we do not have resource facility like libraries and laboratories in our education system, in our education facilities, in our schools, and we do not have primary schools in our districts, in our communities. So when I come on board,
Do you think the reading program
I have a
was
bill. I have a bill. I told you, I have a bill already prepared to establish primary institutions, primary schools in all of the communities,
along with
and
along with
primary
library,
health
right?
care, yeah, and libraries as well, and laboratories as well, because it is the national government priority to make sure we have primary education, adequate primary education, and adequate primary health care. So these are some of the things I'm going to do. I already have what I have. Once I become, in the first 90 days, that bill will be on the table. It will be on the floor.
Okay, so we hope that we are all, our eyes are open to see Representative Tugbe doing what you are saying here today. So we're keeping you on record for that. So just
Absolutely.
in case that you ascend to that position,
Absolutely.
you wants to sleep, we will play the recording.
Absolutely.
All right. So
Absolutely.
we get you on record. So we go to Prince Brooklyn. Prince Brooklyn say, how do you intend to address the healthcare constraints faced by the district currently?
Good. Brooklyn, you said?
Yeah, Prince Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, if you were following, we said we want to establish primary health centers in the district, in every of the 38 communities. And that is going to spill over to the entire country, because it is the right of every Liberian to have health care, adequate health care. So to address that, to address the health issue, we must establish health centers in our community, so that our old man, old people who can walk, or people who are in condition, the disabled. One thing in Liberia, we don't take note of the disabled. Who are the disabled? Not only people who are crippled are disabled.
You guys are the politician, and then when you guys go up there, yo, you
No.
people play
In Liberia, we want to give more right to the disabled. The questions we are going to answer when we become representative, and we must become a representative, is that who is a Liberian? What does one enjoy as being a Liberian? And what are your rights and your privileges as being a Liberian? And what is your contribution as a Liberian? Everything is in one package, I can tell you. By the time we surmount, and then appear in the hollow chambers at the Capitol Hill, we will have made sure that every citizen in District 13 in Liberia over have access to education. I mean, primary education and primary health care. That's what we're going to do. Okay?
All right. So the last person here is Kankanga. He says, many thanks to the studio guests, and my concern has to do with two major issues. The first one has to do with considering the effects of illicit drugs on the younger generation, and in relation to the funding of 100 million plus of illicit drugs found in the district. He wants to represent what program his office has to put into place to carry on awareness to the young generation other than just branding the present lawmaker of being a just leader and a part of that fund drugs. What program?
We have started a rehabilitation program
Where is it?
for Daquitan, that been grossly affected.
How many people benefited from that?
We've been able to accommodate over 110 persons.
How long?
It's been about 4 months now since we started a rehabilitation program.
Do you think the timing is very good?
The timing
of establishing that?
It is because the resources available at the time, and we believe that we still have time to make this, to extend beyond Taku because we already started to talk to people in Topo Village and Iron Factory and Battery Factory. And we want to take it to Sambo, New Jersey Sambo. We want to take it to Pastor Town, New Jersey Estate. I love this community in Chocolate City. And then this is going to be a national undertaking. This rehabilitation, because the country, the district, it's been flooded with drugs, illicit drugs, and narcotics. And the onus is upon us to provide the environment to help our younger ones to move away from the abuse they have received. You understand? And part of the package we have to take to the national legislature is that we want to have this national rehabilitation. It's just a war, like we'll talk about rehabilitation. We are all traumatized. Do you know that?
Is it a stationary or you talking about, because he is speaking of, should we say, the disadvantaged youth within our district? And I think you are not ready to respond to the question.
I'm talking about rehabilitation. I don't like to talk about.
Let's limit it to the district first, because you want to represent the people of the district.
Rehabilitation, we said we have rehabilitated over 110. I don't want to call it disadvantage. I want to call them citizens of Liberia. These are people who've been abused, either by means of peer pressure or by societal condition. You understand? You don't have anything, you're operating with your friends.
Okay, so the last question.
And so we have a program for them.
All right.
And that program is ongoing. And we have successfully admitted and successfully certificated 110 persons. And we're taking this program to, I talk about Sambo.
Sambo.
We talk about Topo Village. We talk about Battery Factory. We talk about Iron Factory. So these are the areas coming forth from now to December. You will see Team Tukware talking, coming into your communities, into your ghettos, into your hoods, about this. And mind you, it is not just about talking to you. It's about giving you access to contribute to the community. All the people we are rehabilitated are contributing to communities. We talk to them.
Okay, so the last question he is asking you here is your understanding in terms of responsibilities of a lawmaker. What are your understanding concerning the responsibilities of a lawmaker?
It is in the Liberian law, the Constitution. And this is not the classroom for me to talk about my responsibility. I have taken up my responsibility. I have no more responsibility to
that is why he's asking you.
Oversight and representation. Okay? So these are responsibilities. But they have extended. They have extended
the responsibility.
They have extended, or capacity. You understand?
Yeah.
To represent. There's a whole big word of representation.
Do we hope to see a representative where early in the morning going to see people standing before his house? Do we hope to see that?
No.
Why?
Because the representative is not for you to come to his house. If I become a representative, and I must become a representative, so that the executive, we're going to pass the law so that the executive will enact the law, will actualize the law. The executive is supposed to make sure we have rules in our various communities. We have pipe and water running around. We have electricity. We have food sufficiency. So we have
But everybody cannot just
I'm
jump.
coming. We have affordable and adequate education and healthcare. So these are the issues that people want to representatives, minister, or people. They come to my house too. We want to quash this. We want to deal with this. We want to diminish this. We want to eradicate this. Okay. So this representative, Tony Nipantu, you want to make sure that you'll be in your house and enjoy. Every morning you wake up to Liberian, you say, "Oh, thank God I'm a Liberian," because we want to make sure the government works for you. Because the government is of the people, for the people, and then by the people.
All right, so we're gonna make sure the government work for you. So before we leave, we just have about 5 minutes before we can leave. You touch the educational sector, the healthcare, and you spoke of other things. Now, you have not really speak of security matters, security issue within our district. Where is Mr. Tupe as it relates to security matter within our district?
Good. Um, in Liberia, let me just say generally, when we talk about security, people talking about people with uniforms, people with arms, police, immigration, a soldier, you know. But I talked about security. My concern is about food security. It's the first line of security. In fact, I can tell you, I can tell you, I graduated as a captain,
From where?
the Liberian Immigration Service.
Okay.
I'm one of the first product of the academy, the Liberian Immigration Academy, the first intake and the first produce of that. So I come with a vast knowledge about security. But security in your sense is our personal security. Personal security is not guaranteed if you don't have food to eat. But when we don't have food, if people are going to find food, if they are hungry, are going to find food.
Okay, let's please. Okay,
So if I can't
us.
find the food, I could take something that does not belong to me. That's stealing, right? Like insecurity, right?
Sure.
Because I'm hungry
Mhm.
and I need to find food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we can address food security,
Okay.
then personal security will be a battle. Because in District 13, if we had a good security system,
Mhm.
the drug that was found in this country, in our district, would not being brought here.
But you work at
But I
Finance.
can tell you that this is not the first time.
But
It's just because this is the first time we discover this quantity of drugs in this country.
all right. So lastly, before we take a leave of you, how do you look at the justice system of this country?
Liberia is a country of law, not man.
How do you look at the system?
The system is revolving, it's evolving,
Is the system working?
it's working.
Is it working in the interest of those who are supposed to get justice?
Justice is a
Is the system working in the interest of those who are supposed to get justice?
I can say yes.
Okay. So thank you. Before we leave, you can just give us a parting comment.
Well, I want to say thank you to Focal TV, and I want to say thank you to Mohammed Kanneh
Thank you,
for
sir.
hosting me here. I want to say the big thank you to the residents of District 13 and Liberia over. The confidence I bring here today is as a result of what they've given me and the assurance they've given me and the way we work together. I have been sitting in my humble home, people coming to me. We know you have the ability. We know you have the capacity. We want you to be our representative. So I will not let you down, people of District 13 and Liberia over. And we're going to bring something new on board. And what we're bringing on board, I can assure you, is going to be everlasting. I can tell you, I'm going to be a one-term representative.
Wow. The likes of Nelson Mandela. Okay, so he wants to be the Nelson Mandela of district number 13.
I told you, District 13 is the Bethlehem of Liberia. If anything good will come out of Liberia, they have to be from District 13. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So that was the voice of Mr. Tugben. That was the voice of Mr. Tugben. So viewers, thank you for following our online program.
Thank you, boss.
Thank you so much.
So what do we do next?
So broadcast. I am your regular Thursday Frank. We're gonna be here next Thursday. On next Thursday, we're gonna be talking educational matter, where we will have the district educational officer sitting in our studio. The educational officer of district number 13 going to be able to sit in our studio on next Thursday. We're going to dive strictly into educational matter. Oh yes, they are all freedom fighter in the walls of Cecil Gator, one of the best basso singer ever in the history of Grand Bassa County. He is no longer around, but his voice still remains in our ears.
I'm afraid of fire.
Oh yes, he couldn't place it any other way rather than the way he placed it. As soon as those guys gain the power to turn their back.
Come in.
All right. Okay, so there where you have it. This is how I'm gonna take my leave. Congratulations to all of those who bagged their masters, who bagged their BSc on yesterday from the African Metal League, from the AMEU University. Congratulations to them. And congratulations to those who celebrating their birthday, their wedding anniversary on today. On behalf of the Foka family, this is how I want to say congratulations to you. And this is how I'm going to take my leave. And we're going to be here next Thursday from 5 to 6 o'clock. Thank you for following. Continue to share the video. I am your regular Thursday friend, Ambassador Mohammed Varnie Kanneh. So thank you.
Focal TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening